Hi, this is Randy Finney with Right Side of the Chart. And in this video, I wanted to share a technique that I've developed over the years in order to gauge market breadth. There's two advantages to this method here. I'm able to look at market breadth not only in real time. A lot of the data offered out there through various providers is delayed data on the market breadth. But more importantly, I'm able to look at the breadth of any individual, any index, sector, industry, even any ETF, take a look at all the components and get a real-time view of the advancers versus decliners, the number of stocks making new highs or new lows at any given point in time. So, as for those of you not familiar with market breadth, we're talking about advancers versus decliners, number of stocks making new 52-week highs versus 52-week lows. And as I pointed out in the last few months, one example is as the market was pushing and has been pushing to new highs, we've seen a noticeable drop off in the in market breadth. In other words, a lot of the metrics we look at, such as the advanced decline line, the percent of stocks trading above or below their 200-day moving average, new highs to new lows, those sort of metrics, those have been warning for quite a while that the internals of the market have been deteriorating. And so in a nutshell, what you have are fewer and fewer stocks lifting the market to new highs, and that is, very often when you see extended periods of such deterioration in the internals, then you're looking at a correction or a possible longer-term trend change in the future. So I find this data useful primarily for the fact that I can drill down and look at certain sectors or other indices that this information is not provided on. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Before I do that, let me take a look at a couple of providers that give you the market breadth information. Okay, this is Yahoo Finance. There's a link to this page on the homepage of right side of the chart under Tools of the Trade for market breadth. And this is good to any time you want to get a snapshot. You can look at the advancers versus decliners. The market's trading down pretty good today. So as you can see here, for example, in the NASDAQ, we have about 70% of the stocks trading down and only about a quarter of the stocks trading higher today, which is pretty ugly. But that only makes sense being that the market's down. That's what you would expect. Again, what I look for here are trends. So the usefulness of the method I have where you can get the trends intraday, you can look at, if, for example, if an ETF or a sector is trading higher that day and you take a look and you see a big disparity between the advancers and decliners. In other words, you have quite a bit more decliners that day than advancers. Then you can say that maybe there's something wrong there. Maybe it's that rise in the index is due to just one big stock or a handful of big, especially if it's a market cap weighted index or ETF. So again, Yahoo is one way to look at take a look at the internals. And what stands out to me, we're looking at, the NASDAQ is not far off all-time highs, and we're looking at 163 new lows today and only 58 new highs. Again, this video isn't really supposed to be about the current state of the markets, more so sharing my methodology for looking at these, but I did want to point that out. And I did want to point out that, as you can note down here in the fine print, the advancers and decliner calculations are delayed by 15 minutes, so that's common. A lot of the providers will give delayed information out there. Another source that I find useful for market internals, this is briefing.com. I think they have a nice page for market internals. Let's just go back here. Things are running a little slow today, unless I didn't click that link. There we go. Now I got it. All right, so this is Briefing, and what I like about Briefing is they'll give you an hour-by-hour snapshot, so you can get a trend on the market internals. For example, if you want to look at the NASDAQ, and before we do that, you notice that they don't have many. This is just a snapshot of the price of the index. So basically, they're only giving you the internals for the NYSE and the NASDAQ. So you don't have a lot there. So take a look at the NASDAQ. And as you can see here, throughout the day, the decliners have been increasing. So we see fewer and fewer advancers as the day goes on, at least since 11 o'clock, and we see a steady increase in the decliners, and as well as stocks making new lows. Half hour after the market opened, we only had 103 new lows. Now we're at 158. Those are 52-week lows. So back to the system here. Okay, I'll go over two different variations of this. I use a TC2000 charting platform. It's one of several. I have about half a dozen different charting platforms I use. Each has their own benefits, pros and cons. But I've found that I can only do this on TC2000 or freestockcharts.com. So I'll cover freestockcharts.com here as well, because I know there's a lot of you out there that probably have your own charting platforms that you're happy with, or maybe you already use Free Stock Charts. Way back when I discovered it, I started using it as a supplement to my other charting platforms, and I found that the features, overall were really make it, in my opinion, one of the best charting platforms out there. So I've been a subscriber now for years for the premium version, TC2000, and that's what I'll start with here. So what we're looking at on the left-hand side here, this is my column for advanced, or for looking at market breadth, I should say. And very simply, what you'll do is any symbol you want to type in. We're looking at the Dow 30, so the 30 stocks in the Dow. Down here it tells you at the bottom 30 items in watch list, and you can click and sort. Now today's a down day. It makes it pretty clear. You can see there's only 4 stocks trading positive today in the Dow 30, and that gives the other 26 stocks in the negative. Another column I have over here are prices making new 52-week highs and 52-week lows. So we can see here within the Dow 30 that we only have, let's just make sure I covered them all. Yep, we only have we don't have any stocks making a new 52-week high, and two stocks, Chevron Texaco and Procter & Gamble, or Chevron and Procter & Gamble, are making new 52-week lows. And we can do this with any index, any ETF. For example, let's take a look at the Russell 2000. This is something you're not going to find anywhere else. Here's how we can get the total advanced decline ratio in real time on the Russell 2000 index. What I'm going to do is sort those by percentage change. I can either sort winners first, losers first. In this case, it's ranking them by the largest percentage loser. Now, what I'll do from here is there's, as you can see at the very bottom here, 1,968 stocks in the Russell 2000. It's obviously a little shy of 2,000. And so what we're going to do is scroll down. I know that the decliners are going to be pretty bad, so they're probably going to be about this far down or so. And I keep going until I hit green. In other words, okay, well, we hit white first. Those are the stocks that are trading flat, 0% gain loss. So let's stop it here. This is in real time. It's going to continue to change. We can see this stock already went from a loss to a winner. But again, if we freeze it here and I click on this one, that tells me now, if you look at the bottom, 1,488. So those are the decliners. Again, I sorted by red at the top. I clicked on the last red stock, and that tells me that roughly 1,500 stocks out of the Russell 2000 are trading negative. So I can have an exact computation there, an exact number. And if I wanted to do, if you're really nitpicking and trying to get an exact number, you can do the same thing with the gainers. And again, we're looking at streaming charts. These are in real time, so the values keep changing. But I'll go down here. I got to go a little farther, a little bit more. And now we start to see some red, so we're getting close to the end there. And we'll just do it this way. Okay. As you can see, everything changes second by second here as we're trading. If it was the end of the day, I could give you an exact number because these figures wouldn't be changing. Okay, so let's stop right there. Oops, did that wrong. Okay, click on that, 444. So there, that's how you can do it. So you have roughly 444 advancers right now at this point in time in the Russell 2000. Now let's look at new highs, new lows. I can click on that column. And now it sorts. I have to move this scroll bar up there. This is the number of stocks making new 52-week lows, and there's quite a few. I'm scrolling down here. And if you want to know exactly how many, click on the last checkbox. Again, I sorted, and that is Shutterstock. And that is 152 new lows right now in the Russell 2000 as of this minute. So, and of course they make a 52-week low. That's the 52-week low for today. So that these numbers can only go up from here. And as of now, sorted by new highs, and we can see there are 38 new highs in the Russell 2000. So you can do that again with any ETF. If I want to look at the semiconductor stocks, I type in SMH. Same story. We can see that right now only 2 out of the 25 holdings in SMH are trading positive, with the rest trading down. We don't have any new 52-week lows or any 52-week highs. So that is real-time market breadth data for just about any sector, industry, ETF, whatever you want. And now let's take a look at freestockcharts.com, because it is a little bit different interface than TC2000. Okay, this is freestockcharts.com. Free because they do have ads. I do have a little trick for those of you. I plan on doing more of these educational videos and adding them to the site, as well as my YouTube page. So continue to check back. I do have, for those of you not familiar with freestockcharts.com, as the name implies, it is free. Of course, they have a pop-up ad here on the right, and that's how it's supported. But what you need to do is go in, create an account, just give them sign up, get a user ID, and for those of you not familiar with it, if you go to my YouTube page, let's go back to the main page. Under playlist here, this is the front end of my YouTube page. Click on playlists and educational. I have a video I did a few years ago. It's actually, I believe, the #1 video on YouTube for how to configure freestockcharts.com. Not a whole lot has changed since then, so if you're not familiar with it, go ahead and watch that video. If you create an account at freestockcharts.com, and it'll show you how to use some of the features and set up your layouts and etc. Again, that's on the YouTube page. And over time, as I do more of these educational videos, including this one, it will be added to this section here under educational. Okay. So once you get your account set up at freestockcharts.com, and you can, I believe you can go ahead and do this without even creating an account. The only problem is once you exit the screen, your settings won't be saved. If you create the account, you can then save this, replicate this format here that I'm talking about. So how to do this? You go on the screen here and you click this whatever index or sector or ETF is up there at the time, and then you want to click on this tab here, components. And what you want to do is take a look at the components of whatever index. So for example, let's go back to the Dow 30 as I did before. I click on Dow 30. Now the columns that I've added here, you have to have percent change, and that's in order to sort. Here the sorting function's a little different. You click and then you get the option to sort. So right now it's sorted with the losers first. There's a scroll bar here. As you can see, it didn't fit them all in. Let me try to shrink that screen down a little bit. There we go. All right, so now you can see all the stocks. I know it's very small to see, and you can sort by winners or losers. As you can see down on the bottom, there's only two gainers right now. You can add the 52-week high column. There is some configuration you'll have to do. What you will do here is when you click Add Column, let me expand this real quick so you guys can see this a little bit better. Okay, I click this Add Column button, and then I'll have to go to Search. Just type in the word high, and then price at new high. That's what I added in. When you add price at new high, what you need to do is change this from 50-day to 250-day. Now you can do whatever period you want, but as I mentioned earlier, there's on average 251 trading days in a year. So 250-day is a 52-week comparable or equivalent to a 52-week high, and that's typically what most people are watching, 52-week highs. And I like to, put a nice big green dot. You can make it whatever color you want, and that's it. So that column, I already had it there. I just re-added. And then you'll do the same thing. Type here to search. Type low, the word low. You'll get price at new low. Again, make sure you change that to 250-day. I changed the dot to red. I don't know why they'd have that defaulted as green, but whatever. Change it to red, and then what you'll do, now those are over to the right. Again, the ones I just added. Again, I already had these columns over here. So we're looking at the Dow 30. Let's go to, why don't we go to the S&P 500. That's a good one, because that's one index. For the life of me, I don't know why you can't find the information anywhere. I don't think there's any data providers that keep track of market breadth on the S&P 500 yet. It's the most widely tracked and traded index out there. So component, you would have to scroll down, or you can search S&P. It's not going to give it to me that way. Let's go back here, component. Okay, as I mentioned, freestockcharts.com is a little more clunky, not as user-friendly, so I was trying to find it. What I did is I scrolled down all the component list, and here's the S&P 500, so right here, Standard & Poor's 500. So now we're looking at all 500 stocks. Again, if you want to sort them, you can sort by percentage gainers. Unfortunately, like as in TC2000 I just showed you, you can't get the number. You can manually count these, but if I click on, looks like FE is the last gainer. Down at the bottom, it doesn't tell me how many. It doesn't tell me the total count. In other words, from the top down, it just still says 500 stocks. These are all the green stocks. But what you can do is you can get an idea. Just basically look at this scroll bar here on the side, and you can see that you're about maybe 25% of the way down the column. So if you have 500 stocks and you're right here in the middle, half were green, half were red, you'd have about 50-50, equal decliners and advancers. 52-week highs and lows. Unfortunately, unlike TC2000 that I just showed you, you cannot sort this column. It would be nice if you could. I could do that in the TC2000, but here you have to have a gold membership, which is a premium membership. But it will, nonetheless, it will show those. So if you go to just scroll, go up to the top, you can get a visual this way. If you look at the red dots and the green dots, obviously red dots are the new 52-week low, green dots are 52-week highs. So that's how to do it on on freestockcharts.com. You can click this tab. You can also look at any ETF you want. So, I mean, there's a gazillion out there. I think they have just about every one that trades. So if we wanted to look at, let's say this First Trust, this is a European, well, there's only 4 in there. You get the point. So you can search by name, type in the name right here, pull up your favorite ETF. But unlike TC2000, all I have to do is type it over here. If I did the MDY, which is the mid-cap index, it'll appear over here. If I wanted to look at the components of the MDY here, I have to actually type it in this field. I have to go to ETF and then type in not the symbol but the name, and then it'll pull up all the components. So you could take a look there at the internals. Okay, this has been Randy Finney with Right Side of the Chart. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as I said, I plan to do more of these educational videos, so either keep an eye on the site or check out our YouTube page, and as those are published, that's where they'll be. Have a great day.